It's 10:02 here in New York time. I'm Roberta Martins. I work for UNDCO Development Coordination Office on the BOSS Business Operations Strategy. And welcome to our weekly session webinar on disability inclusions and how can we be more inclusive through operations. I have the pleasure to be here today with my colleague Heba. I'll hand over the floor to her so we can start today's session. Over to you, Heba.
Thank you so much, Roberta. It's a pleasure to be here with you. And it's a pleasure to be with all the colleagues today, where we will be discussing how to make our social media posts accessible and inclusive. So at first, before we start, let me give you a little bit of an introduction about me, for those who don't know me still. My name is Heba Khalif. I am based in Alexandria in Egypt. I'm a person with visual impairment. I have a master's degree from the University of Birmingham, United Kingdom in inclusive education, and I have been working in the field of disability inclusion since 2002. I'm working with DCO since August 2022. And I'm very passionate about disability inclusion in general and digital accessibility in particular. So this is a part of our discussion for today's webinar. So let's go to the check-in exercise that we will do. But before that, I would like to ask how many colleagues today are colleagues from the communication teams or the communication group. If you are working in the comms teams, if you can please send us a thumbs up or raise your hand, virtual hand, so that we would know.
3, 4 colleagues, I guess, Heba, out of our participants of today.
All right, that's great. And the reason I'm asking is that because throughout our discussion, we will be discussing how to remediate our posts in social media in order to make them more accessible. So I'd like to select a volunteer from the communication teams in order to work with posts that they have already uploaded in our social media platforms throughout the webinar. We will explain the guidelines, and we would like one of the volunteers to assist us with sharing their screen and trying to implement those steps live with you. So if you think you can do that, please, if you can indicate in the chat, and Roberta can kindly make you a presenter so that you can share your screen if need be.
We have a hand up here, but I don't know if it's a new one or an old one. Colette, are you right? Okay, okay, anyone that wants? Yes, Colette, it can be Twitter. Yes.
Okay,
Sugarcane, ready to practice, or do we need to do a live post?
No, it's a practice. It's a practice on a one existing post. You can select any post. We will not save any changes. We will just play around with how to add alternative text and all that. So that's what we will do.
Okay, so I guess that we have a volunteer, Colette, and so we can start up with that.
All right. Thank you very much, Colette, for volunteering. So, guys, in this exercise, I'd like you to think back of a moment where you are browsing your social media platform while you're walking down the road, and it's very sunny, and the sun is reflected on the mobile screen. You are unable to read the content of the post you're trying to browse. The image is very blurry, and you cannot distinguish the writings. So what is the immediate feeling you're going to feel in this instance? You can write down in the chat. Are you going to feel frustrated, angry? Are you going to give up and just close the whole post because you're not able to access?
No comments yet. Don't be shy, colleagues. You are using your mobile phone outside in the open day. It's a beautiful sunny day outside, and your screen is not readable at this time.
How many of you will give up and close the post when they cannot access?
Okay, Gina is saying that she would probably give up and put away the phone. Someone, Colette is moving to the next post. But the song will still be there, huh?
So you see, some of you will just give up the whole idea of browsing and then and you will close the post. That means that you will not be able to access.
Heba, we
Yeah.
have an interesting comment here. I'm addicted to my phone, so I will try somehow.
Wow, resilient. All right, that's great. Okay, but of course, when you're trying and trying and trying and you cannot access, you will feel frustrated. You will feel angry. Maybe you will throw your phone away when you want to access and you can't. So usually, the issue of inaccessibility brings out a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, and of course, a lot of miss out on information when you cannot access this information. So in the next slide, as you can see in the agenda, we are going to discuss the role of the social media, how important is to provide accessible social media posts in some of the famous social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So that's the agenda for today. All right, in the next slide, so the UN, the social media platforms has a significant role in the UN communication cycle, because a lot of events and announcements are published through the social media posts, and a lot of job vacancies, for instance, are also shared on social media. Also, it is very important to update the news announcements, and that happens on social media quicker than it happens on the websites. All right, so in the next slide, it is very important to produce accessible social media because it reaches people from different abilities with different educational levels, different geographical locations, different backgrounds. The social media is information spreads there like a virus. Um, Also, it will improve agency image when the content we present is accessible. And it also increases the visibility of the agency because this content will be visible by a lot of people, including persons with disabilities. Um, the search engine optimization is a very important feature that we have to take into account when we are publishing our social media posts. And what do we mean by that? Is that the search engine, in order for your post to appear in the search results of any search engine, your images has to be has to be accompanied with alternative text, because the keywords that you will put on the alternative text will make your post appear if anyone searches for these alternative text, for these keywords. So that's why when you provide an accessible post, this will also improve and increases the rate that your social media post will appear in search results, in search engines. Um, so also the social media posts are locally managed by the country office communication team. So it's as I said, it can be easier to implement accessibility features there because it's in the hands of the communication persons. All right. In the next slide, here there are a lot of people who actually benefit from accessible social media posts, not just persons with disabilities. But I will concentrate and focus on persons with disabilities for now. So people with visual impairment might benefit from providing alternative text to images, or providing video transcripts to videos, or providing audio description to videos as well. People with hearing impairments might benefit from providing video captions, and we really um, although automatic live captions are very progressing at the moment, but if you could opt for the manual captions because it's more accurate, that would be really good, especially if your video contains confidential and emergency informations for emergency situations. Um, Also, transcripts can be used by persons with hearing impairments, persons with learning disabilities, and persons with intellectual disabilities can make use of all the above mentioned accessibility measures. Also, very important point is that applying these measures do not only benefit persons with disabilities, people in situational limitations, as we discussed in our exercise earlier. If you are in a situation in a very noisy environment and you cannot really listen to the sound or the audio incoming, which is part of a video you're trying to see, you can just read the live captions and it will give you the same information. So people with situational limitation will also benefit from these measures. In the next slide, we can see that there is a relation between social media and employment because, as I said, agencies will use social media posts to publish their vacancies. Organizations of persons with disabilities will share job vacancies for persons with disabilities on their own platforms. There are some social media pages that are created by persons with disabilities for persons with disabilities that will also share any available job vacancies. So it is very important to make sure our posts are accessible. Um, even people with disabilities use social media to look for jobs more than they use other search engines or websites. All right. In the next slide, there are a number of principles that we have to do in order to ensure our social media is accessible. First, to add alternative text to images. And alternative texts are very concise, to the point, very short descriptions of our images. They should not exceed 125 characters because the screen readers will cut it short. They are used by persons who are using a screen reader. Not only that, if you are in a place where a internet connection is limited and you are using a small screen, you are not able to browse the image. So the image will not appear. In this case, the alternative text that you provided is the message that will appear to the users. Either you can add the manual video captions, or you can enable the automated video captions to our videos. Using camel case in hashtags is very important because this way the screen reader is going to pronounce the hashtag correctly. Limiting the use of emojis, not using the emojis in your display name or screen name or as part of the sentence. Keep the emojis to 2 or 3 maximum and keep them to the end of your posts. All right, we are going to move to the next slide now. And this is a little bit of a formula of when you want to create your alternative text. So usually this alternative text has to have a subject, a verb, plus a descriptor or two. A subject like a girl, for instance, verb, walking, I don't know, descriptor or two like walking hastily or slowly. So we now specified a person, we specified an action, and we specified um, um, the way in which this action is taking place.
Heba, we have a
Yes.
question here on the emojis. So
Yes.
Ariana is asking us how the emojis are read by the screen reader. So do they have a title of the emoji? How does it work?
A very interesting question. Thank you, Ariana. All right, so screen readers progressed a great deal in reading emojis. So a screen reader has something called a dictionary. So you would have the picture of the emoji, or how an image of it or something, or as the special characters that are used equals the pronunciation that the screen reader will say. Like, for example, you know how we write the smiley face using the colon and right bracket? So that when the screen reader says these combinations of letters, it says a smiling face with smiling eyes or something. So each emoji is translated into a full sentence by the screen reader because it is previously stored in the screen reader's dictionary of pronunciations. So you can actually use emojis. There's no problem. Just do not use them a lot. Does this answer your question?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So now we are in Facebook, and now this shows you how to add the alternative text to our Facebook posts. So if you have a new or an existing post, you have to, in the new post, you will click on the upload photo. But in the existing post, of course, you will click on the edit photo. And then you will click on the edit icon. And then you will select the alternative text, and then you can either choose the automatic alternative text or the manual and custom text that you provide. Now, Facebook has had a very important feature, and it's progressing nowadays, that it uses AI or artificial intelligence to provide automatic descriptions to images. But it is not very accurate. It doesn't display the accurate information. So really, if you can add your own alternative text, that would add a great deal and make people understand your image better. So now I'd like to give you 2 minutes for you to go to any of your Facebook posts and click on any of the photos you uploaded and check if you have the alternative text being provided, or you have um, the emojis as part of your posts, or you have your hashtags capitalized, all these tips that we discussed.
We can just do this with our own personal accounts. But of course, if you also have, if you are a communication person and you have access to your entity account, you can also check these features that Heba was mentioning.
So yes, so you can even use your personal account, and then if our volunteer is ready, she can also get ready by selecting a post from the Facebook and trying to add the alternative text to that.
Colette, you have the right to share your screen. So if you want to open one of your Facebook posts and share the screen with us, please feel free to do so. And you can take the screen.
Thank you. One moment, I have the screen open, but maneuvering to find it. I have too many things open. Just let me know when you can see the screen.
Yes, Colette, we can see your screen. And if you can introduce
Yes.
yourself, please.
Oh, yes. I mean, hang on. Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Colette Titmaya Singh. I am the communications officer based in the RCO in Guyana, South America, the only English-speaking country in South America. Nice to meet you all or join you all today. So
Nice
this
to meet you,
post,
Colette.
likewise, I actually learned something today. So for this post with this hashtag, I learned the term camel case, I think you said.
Yes.
So a lot of hashtags don't do it, but this was the hashtag created globally during the recent Conference of State Parties for Persons with Disabilities. So now I'm putting it into the context of, why the capitalization of the two words. And so I must admit, I sometimes remembered the alt text, especially on Twitter, but I'm now realizing on Facebook I rarely do. After just, posting, I think it's the case of trying to manage the posts on all the platforms and not remembering to do it. But your point about the use of the hashtags in the SEO has been noted, so I'll really make a greater effort. So this was a recent post I did. I did no alt text.
Okay, so if you can tell me what the image is about, now we can select a mock
Okay.
alternative text, yeah, and then we can.
Yes, so this is actually a session we recently held with persons with disabilities, and the discussion focused on food security. So there were a group of persons in a room. It was a hybrid meeting, and so the discussions are ongoing. There was a sign language interpreter at the front of the room as well. So
Okay,
yeah, that's it.
yes, please go ahead. So if you would like to describe this sentence in as short words as possible. Now, as we said in the formula, you have to have a subject. So the subject in this case is a group of persons with disabilities, correct?
Well, a combination. There are persons with disabilities and persons without.
Okay, so we can say a group of people, including persons with disabilities, correct?
Yes.
And the sign language interpreter. And then what are they doing? They are just discussing in the online meeting, talking, correct?
Yes, yes.
So we since the context of the image already is talking about this meeting, you do not need to add in the alternative text that they are talking or that they are discussing or that they are in this meeting, because the meeting will be mentioned in the post. Is it correct?
Yes, correct.
So you only need to add the new and relevant information only. So you would say a group of people, including persons with disabilities and sign language interpreter. That's it.
Okay, and where do I go? So I'm in editing. Is that it, or where do I find the alt text in this post that was already created?
Yes, if you can
Or
click
or
on
this is
the
the
edit
post
photo.
description?
Yeah, no,
Uh-huh.
no, you can click on the edit photo, and then in
Mm.
the edit photo, you're supposed to have something called alternative text.
So you
Um,
added not the post, but you added the photo.
You edit the photo
the
itself.
photo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hmm. Where is that?
If you are the one who uploaded the post, then it
Yes,
is going to appear.
But I have to say that I don't see the
edit photo. I am not seeing it.
So what will happen if you clicked on this photo?
So I clicked on the photo here.
Yeah, yeah.
If I right click, it has.
No,
Oh,
don't
I
right
see
click
some.
it.
No.
okay. Some colleagues are giving here tips. Okay, change alt text is there. I will unmute the colleagues, Heba,
Sure.
so they can also come in and help us with this. Okay. So anyone who wants to take the floor and unmute yourself and help us, it would be nice. I have to say that I never did it, Heba, myself. So I guess Adriana was saying that we are able to, right, Adriana? And we are having some colleagues here saying that you can click with your right mouse. Okay, click again on the three dots next to publish by. The second option is change alt text. Yes. Okay, so here we can see right now have the AI feature saying maybe it's an image of 13 people and people studying, but we agreed on a text, and I do have it on the chat right now. So Colette, if you want to use the text that we used, you can paste it from the chat. But otherwise, you can. It's your post. You can choose what you want to have there. If you want, I can also read what we have on the chat.
Oh, yes, sorry, I was asking you to read it, but I didn't realize I muted myself.
Okay, so it's a group of people, include persons with disability.
Okay.
And the sign language interpreter.
Sign language. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Good.
Thank you, Colette. You see, Heba,
You're
we
welcome.
have now an accessible post from Guyana. Heba, you're on mute in case you're speaking.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I was talking all this time. Sorry, sorry. That is really great. I'm so happy that we managed to make a post into an accessible one. And as you can see, the way the alternative text that is provided by the AI is very confusing. So all what it said is maybe an image of a group of people or something. It didn't say that there are persons with disabilities. It didn't say there's a sign language interpreter in there. It didn't say anything. So that's why we really have to opt for the manual alternative text or custom alternative text that we provide. All right, so in this slide, I believe there is an image containing how can you add alternative text to the new posts, clicking on the uploading photo, and then clicking the edit and all of that. So when I will share with you the presentation, you will have this information available. So in the next slide, this is an example of a very accessible Facebook account. It's by the BBC News, and I have to say that the BBC has made good steps in order to provide accessible digital accessibility in their platforms, either their website or their social media. So this post, for example, they use alternative text, they use hashtags, camel case in hashtags and all that, and they don't use emojis a lot. So you can navigate to this account and you can check it as well. So now we are going to move to creating accessible posts on Twitter. So Twitter was among the least accessible platforms 5, 6, 7 years ago. But then in 2020, they really have made progressive steps to make their platform more accessible, especially on the web. So they included some accessibility features. For example, now they have like a tutorial on how to make your post accessible, and these are some guidelines they provided. So they urge users to provide clear descriptive alternative text. They urge users to provide in sentence case, not to write the whole words in uppercase or the whole sentence in lowercase, but to use uppercase as advised in the sentences, and also to use camel cases in hashtags. They also advise to break large text blocks into smaller chunks to be easily read by the screen reader. They advise not to repeat emojis more than 3 times and to place them at the end of your post, and not to include, of course, emojis in your display name or screen name. So in the next slide, it also provides some guidelines. Some people might use special characters. If you have to use special characters in your post, try to add a description of what this character is. Try to use, of course, inclusive non-ableist language when you're referring to persons with disabilities. And when you're uploading a video, try to upload a caption file. And in the following images, we can see how to upload a caption file from your computer to your tweets. But if you are the one who will be writing your captions, each caption should not exceed 2 lines, and each line should only be 32 characters, because we do not want the captions to take a lot of space on the screen. So in the next slide, you can see how to upload the video captions with the steps. So you will have to have the caption file ready on your computer before uploading it. There are a number of platforms like video editing programs that you can use in order to create a caption file for your windows, for your videos, sorry. Usually the caption files are saved in a format called SRT formats. If you are not the ones who will produce your caption files, and you can ask the consultant or the person who is producing your media to do that, to provide you with a caption file with your video. And then these are the steps you can take in order to upload them. I'm leaving you like 2 minutes to read. And you can also choose the language in which this caption is uploaded. In the next slide as well, we continue discussing how to upload the SRT file. But note that this upload video caption can only work in desktop format. Not if you're using your Twitter from your mobile phone, it will not work. All right. I just want to make sure, are the instructions clear on that you have seen on the screen of uploading your file, your caption file? Or you would like to ask a question?
We don't have hands or comments, Heba.
Okay. So it's basically to click to upload your video and choose to upload a caption file and just save it and upload your video, and or press tweet. All right. In the following slide, this is another example of another accessible account on Twitter. You can also visit this account and you can check the accessibility features in place. In the next slide, these are some of the features provided by Twitter for persons with disabilities. You can have the ability to provide alternative text, alternative GIFs, alternative badges to your badges. You can customize the color contrast options. You can add voice tweets, and this is very helpful for users with visual impairment. There's an image description reminder in case you have uploaded an image and you forgot to enter an alternative text. Twitter will remind you that you did not include the alternative text in there. And it has, of course, you have the option to either opt for the automated or manual video captions. And it provides accessibility hints for assistive technology, meaning that it can provide to me like some hints when I'm browsing Twitter. Like it can say use up and down arrow keys to navigate, use the tab key to move between the links, it will provide me as a screen reader users with some hints, accessibility hints. These hints are not visually appearing on the screen, but they can be read by the screen reader. There are some sound effects to signify that an action is completed, and this is also very helpful to users with visual impairment. When I'm uploading a tweet, for instance, and my tweet is uploaded successfully, I can hear a sound effect in order to make sure this is done. In the next slide, now we are going to look at Instagram. And Instagram in their web version and in their mobile application also has the ability to provide alternative text. And it urges users to apply the same accessibility principles that we have discussed before, as you can see. So what we will do now is that we will ask our volunteer if you can also find an Instagram post. Make sure that your Instagram has a photo. Your Instagram photo has an alternative text, and the hashtags are using camel case, and the emojis are placed towards the end of your sentences and post. And for all our audience, you can always do the same. So I'll give you 2 minutes to do that.
So Colette, do you have? Okay, she's logging in to the desktop.
Okay, perfect.
I have to go to my password list and find everything. It's just automatically saved in my phone. One moment, please.
If it's a lot of trouble, you don't have to do it. You can browse just to your phone, and you can tell us if you have alternative text to your images and your photos. And then in the next slide, we can see some photos explaining how to do that. So I don't wish to trouble you or to put you on the spot. So if you cannot do that, then it's fine. But I'd
No,
like the
that's
audience
okay.
to. Okay.
It's just to go into the 1 sec, it wouldn't take me that long. I'm looking at posts on my phone, and I know I don't usually put the alt text. I'm seeing the hashtag, but these aren't words. So for example, SDGs, the hashtags that have the most following that I would try to use, these are all lowercase letters. So in a case like this, where it's not a word, hashtag SDGs, what do you advise there?
Yeah, we have to capitalize them, because when the screen reader will see these abbreviations in lowercase, it's not going to say SDG. It's going to say it's going to try to
Ah,
pronounce them as a word.
okay.
But if they are capitalized, the screen reader will say SDG.
Okay, so I'm wondering if this is like UN system created hashtag. I mean, I'm thinking they would have gotten that guidance, or regardless of what the popular hashtag is, or a hashtag that was created for a particular global campaign, what do you then do? Because the idea of using that hashtag is to add to the visibility so they could do their monitoring and so.
Mhm. I'm not really sure.
Okay. Well, I guess that's a HQ discussion that, they need to be reminded of these elements when creating some of these global hashtags.
Yeah, but something that you can do from your side, Colette, like the capitalization of letters, even if it's
Mm-hmm.
a global hashtag, it's the same hashtag that you're using.
Mm-hmm.
So you may also use you're using the UN Guyana account. You are the manager, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. So maybe there's specific one that you're changing the capitalization. You can do it even without consulting because it doesn't change the main.
Okay. Okay.
You may consult Carolina on that, and
Yes.
and
Okay.
I'm normally working side by side with her. I can also check with her this
Yes,
in terms
because you
of
see when you
global
click
guidance.
on, yeah, you see when you
Mm-hmm.
click on this little one, you're seeing that this has, over 3 million tag to it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but as you
Yeah,
said, you
yeah,
can just change it. Okay. Sure. So I did update to the capitalization.
yeah.
Yes, and also if your hashtag contains abbreviation and this abbreviation is not provided as a full sentence, try to include the full sentence of the abbreviation in your post if you do not wish to change your hashtag, because some people might not actually know what this. Of course, SDGs are pretty famous, but I'm talking about other acronyms that you might be
Mhm.
using.
Okay. Noted.
All right, so
Sure.
colleagues, how many before Colette shows us how to do that on her end? How many of you find alternative texts in your Instagram posts?
Uh, we have Sherm here. This is a hand for a question or a hand to say that you also do on your posts. Oh. Okay, she can see it on her posts. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So now you can see we often rely on the AI to provide us this auto-generated alternative text, but really, what we really need to take care of is adding our own custom alt
Mhm.
text. Yeah. All right. So, Colette, please, whenever you're ready, just tell us.
I am. I am
Okay.
ready. Sorry, actually, I did do an edit when we were speaking about the capitalization. I changed the SDGs that were in lowercase to uppercase. And now
Mhm.
yet again, I have to go find the option to do the alt text. So let me, yes, okay, edit accessibility.
Yes, you can find the
And let's see.
accessibility icon, and then you can
Hmm.
find alternative text or alt text.
Yes, so I'm seeing here, let me click on this one. What it says, photo by United Nations, Guyana on June 20th, may be an image of 10 people, office, and the text.
So this is
Oh,
an
no.
auto-generated. This is an
Yes,
auto-generated option.
yes. Um, which I prefer not to use.
Yes.
So if we do the subject and verb, it's the same 125 characters for Instagram.
Yeah,
That's across all
125.
platforms.
Yes, yes, and even some Instagram might be 100 characters even, so you can try to make it even shorter.
Okay, so what about, so okay, to tell you the photo, it's a group of people, a minister or RC diplomatic community. They are doing the ribbon cutting. The minister is cutting the ribbon to open a learning lab and empowerment center for persons with disabilities. So could the alt text just be, if I wanted to be specific, Guyana's Minister of Human Services cuts the ribbon to officially open the Learning Lab, or should it
Yes,
be
but
shorter?
if this information is this information included in the main post?
Yes, yes, yes,
The
yes.
like the minister is cutting the ribbon for the lab,
Well,
or the just the
I
opening
don't
of
think I
the.
put, yes, I put, yes, today Human Services opened the lab. Yes, so I didn't mention
Okay,
ribbon cutting.
yes, exactly. So that's what just we need to mention. Guinea
Okay,
minister cuts the ribbon, and that's it. Because we actually will understand from the rest of the posts that this is an opening of a learning lab. So you need to repeat that in the alt text.
okay. So I can put her name, Dr. Vindya Prasad, cuts the ribbon to open the Learning Lab.
Yes,
Okay, 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 great. I
great.
have a lot of editing to do.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah.
But
Okay, thank
it is
you.
very, you're welcome. But it's very interesting. You see how different the automated alternative text from the captions that you provide.
Yeah,
It
yes.
makes a lot of difference for me as a person with visual impairment, that I cannot see the photo. All right.
Okay.
So thank you so much, Colin. So
Thank
in the
you.
next, thank you. In the next slide, you can see an example of an
Okay, let me
Instagram
stop
post.
sharing now.
Yeah, I
Let
will
me
give
just
Roberta
stop
her time to
sharing.
reshare.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it's there. Go ahead.
yeah. Okay, good.
All right, this is a school in the United States, and this school provides guide dog services for people with visual impairments. So this is their account, and the Instagram account, of course, contains a lot of photos of different dog breeds and all that. So their alternative texts for their images is very accurate. It explains exactly what's the needed information that the users will need, or the browsers will need, in order to select their favorite dog guide dog. Um, So this is guidelines are provided also by Instagram, teaching people how to write good alternative texts to Instagram posts. So we are going to apply the same, as I said, the same foundations that we learned. We have to focus on the details that are not mentioned in the main post, that are not mentioned in the main posts, and they are very relevant to the understanding of the post itself. It's a key information that you need to provide. In the next slide, this is a continuation for what we discussed. Now, this adds another important element. Sometimes it would be helpful to provide a photo ID, or this is another caption that provides extra information about the photo in the photo ID box, where the photo is taking place and all that. This is not a necessary option when it comes to accessibility, but it will add more contextual information to the users who are browsing your Instagram account. Um, they can also, photo IDs of course are also can also be read by screen readers. Next slide. So now we are going to go to LinkedIn, and LinkedIn are one of the main platforms that people with disabilities use to look for jobs, and it's used by recruiters as well to find suitable candidates in their headhunting efforts. So we need to really make sure that our posts are accessible. So LinkedIn has provided a disability answer desk, and this desk provides on the hour information to any person with a disability who faces any accessibility issues in LinkedIn. And they also provide accessibility issues email and contact page if I need to contact them if I face any issue. They also advise users to add alternative text, use simple language, and LinkedIn provides only 120 characters for alternative texts, so we have to make sure our texts, alternative texts, are very short. Now, in the next slide, it shows you how to add alternative text to LinkedIn. After uploading the image, in the top right corner, you will find an alternative text icon. You click on that, then you type in the alternative text and then press save. So if you are resharing an image or resharing a link or resharing something that contains a visual information and there is no place or no room to add alternative text, you can include this information in the post itself that you are publishing. When you are sharing, it will give you a space to write anything about the post that you're sharing. So you can include your alternative text information in there. But here, there's a very important point. Now, when you are writing the description, when you are writing your alternative text in the alternative text dialog box, you do not need to add the word an image of or an image shows or a picture of, because the screen reader will automatically detect that this item that it's focused on is an image, and it will add the word image by itself. But when you are resharing a post or an image, and you are writing this alternative text on your post and as part of your post, be sure to write the words an image of so and so that it would be clear. These are some additional, in the next slide, these are some additional resources that you can see. Now, the United Nations Disability Inclusion Guidelines are a very helpful resource if you want to learn more about adding alternative text or providing accessible posts in general. And here it's very important to mention that there are two versions of the disability inclusive guidelines. There's the standard version and there's the easy read version. And the reason why I've included both is that this might give you an idea about how to transfer the same content from the standard version to the easy read version. Maybe that would be helpful for you also to provide to try to use the same techniques, using simpler words, using shorter sentences, in order to provide your content in easy read version as well. Also, the UNICEF has had a communication, inclusive communication module, and you can access it via this link. And there is an agency in Australia. It's a library, one of the public libraries for people with print disabilities, and they have also created some inclusive communication guidelines that you can use. Here in these links, you can find the accessibility features in Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn and Facebook. You can also share this with any persons with disabilities you're working with, so that they would know how to use these platforms with their screen readers.
Heba?
Yes,
we have
Roberta?
a question here, which is not
Sure.
exactly related to social media, but it's also an interesting question. Asking if there is a way to create an easy read technical Excel document.
Sorry.
Or should we avoid the Excel as much as we can?
No. The Excel is okay. Okay, so you need to create an Excel document, correct?
Yes. So the idea, the question is because you saw that you shared with us the easy read version of the disability inclusive communication guideline. So the question is it also possible to do the same with an Excel document?
Yes, I think you can. If you want to create an easy read version, you can put a glossary at the beginning of your Excel or another sheet, add a glossary sheet to your document. And this glossary sheet, you're going to explain all the technical words or the difficult words that you have included in your main documents, if you want, so that you can make it easy for a lot of people to understand. So you can add your glossary sheet.
Okay, thank you. Does it answer, Colette? Yes, thank you. Heba, can I also add something from my own experience here?
Sure.
So when we are talking about social media, we, as Heba was explaining at the very beginning, some of those accounts, they are managed at the country level, and the main focus normally is the population of our countries where we are working. Something that you can also look at is if you have any specific guidance at the country level as well that you can also include. Because, for example, I'm Brazilian, and in Brazil, we have a specific hashtag to include description of text as part of the social media. It's a hashtag which is called para cego ver, which means in English something like for blind to see. And it's very interesting because anyone in Brazil who use a screen reader and social medias, when they find this hashtag para cego ver, they know that there is a description coming after that.
Thank you so much, Roberta. This is very interesting. This is really interesting because then that will alert the users that this also has anything with this hashtag is going to be accessible.
Yes, it's not only accessible, but they know that right after the hashtag, they have the descriptor.
Yeah, yes, that's very good. Thank you so much. So that's all from my end today. Except if you want to have, we have already some time in our hands. If you would like to, any of you would like to go to your posts and try to remediate some of them, and you would like to ask any questions like what alternative text to use, you have an image that you would like to share with us, and we can just work on finding the good alternative text for that, we can do that. So I'm all yours for any questions.
And Heba, while we are waiting for questions or comments from the colleagues, just to refer to one question that we have on the chat box. So if you have colleagues that were not able to join our sessions, we create and share a folder at the YouTube channel with all the recordings of our sessions. And as soon as we finish the series, we will also make a post on the Yammer with access to all the resources that we have shared so far, including the recording of the sessions, the presentations, the slides that we are using. So please spread the word. I don't see new hands, Heba. We have a thank you here from Eric, but I don't see questions or comments today.
All right, so I will leave you to enjoy the rest of your day since it's a Friday, and I wish you a happy Friday and a happy weekend. But Roberta, could we please can we please share the feedback as well?
Yes,
Give
we
some
have
time.
on. Yes, sure. We have on the screen right now oops, sorry, the feedback form. So if you can give us your feedback, tell us how we did today and what can we improve for next time. So we have the feedback on the screen, and I will also paste to the chat box the link for the survey. So if you if you cannot use the QR code that we have on the screen, you can also use the link on the chat. You see, you have here 4 stars already coming here on the chat box. Thank you, Colette.
Thank you.
And we have some colleagues saying that they learned a lot today with us and with you. In fact, Heba, you are the master here.
Thank you. No, thank you. I learned all along the way from each and every one of you. Now I know how to do all this with the mouse because I use the keyboard to do all the functions. Now you taught me how to explain it using the mouse and the right clicks and left clicks. This is outside my zone. So I learned a lot today. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. And so we have colleagues saying that they realized that they had no alternative tests on the social media posts. And yes, and thank you, Bahira.
Thank you so much, Roberta, for all your support. And thank you,
Yeah.
colleagues, for joining.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.